Hi, today we have Kia Picanto with 1000 cc engine. I'm going to show you how to change the crankshaft position sensor or RPM sensor. The vehicle is not starting. Also, you can notice that when I crank the engine, the RPM is not moving. And I have connected with diagnostic tester. And you can see fault code P0335 crankshaft position sensor. I'm going to try to delete it. And try again. But the car won't start. So when I check again, I get the same fault code, crankshaft position sensor. So this means that needs to be replaced. The crankshaft position sensor on this vehicle is located at the lower side of the engine, next to the timing belt. So I'm going to raise the vehicle. I'm going to remove the right front wheel. I have removed the right front wheel. So next I have to remove this plastic splash guard. There are 4 bolts with 10mm wrench and one over here that are holding the plastic splash guard. After removing the plastic splash cover, now I can see the belts. So next I'm going to open these 4 bolts of the crankshaft pulley with 10mm wrench, and that way I can remove the belt that drives the AC compressor and also the servo pump. Now before I remove the other pulley of the crankshaft, first I'm going to open the 4 bolts of the coolant pump pulley. They can be opened with 10mm wrench while the drive belt is still on. That way I can hold the pulley to open the bolts. And after that I can open the center bolt of the crankshaft pulley. I have opened the 4 bolts of the coolant pump pulley. So now I'm going to open the center bolt with 19mm wrench. I can open it with impact wrench, or if you don't have impact wrench, you can open these 2 bolts of the metal cover, and then you can lock the flywheel with a screwdriver, and you can open the center bolt that way. I have removed the pulley, so now you can see the bolts that is holding the lower plastic cover. There are 3 bolts with 10mm wrench. One we have over there. This is the second one, and this is the third one. And I think that we can remove only the lower plastic cover to replace the RPM sensor. Now to remove the third bolt over here, I have to remove the oil dipstick, but I have opened these 2, so now I can see the RPM sensor, and I can open the 2 bolts that are holding the RPM sensor. So I'm going to open them with 10mm wrench, and I can remove the sensor. I have managed to remove the RPM sensor, so now I'm going to lower the vehicle to disconnect it, because the connector is at the top side of the engine, and I can pull out the sensor. This is the RPM sensor connector, so I'm going to disconnect it. And also I have pull out the sensor. And now I can install the new one. Here I have new sensor that I'm going to install on the vehicle. This is the part number, and as you can notice, it's totally the same with the old one. I have installed the new sensor. I have installed the connector on the metal mounting. I can connect the wiring, and now I can raise the vehicle to install it on the crankshaft position. I have installed and tightened the RPM sensor. So next I'm going to install the two bolts that I removed from the lower plastic cover, and this one is holding also the RPM sensor wire. So now I can install the two pulleys from the coolant pump and from the crankshaft pulley. I have installed the drive belt, also the two pulleys. They are all bolts are loosened. So I have installed these two bolts to hold this metal plate in place, because when I tighten it, the center bolt, after that I have to install these 4 bolts from the smaller pulley that drives the AC compressor and servo pump. So first I'm going to tighten this bolt with 19mm wrench, and after that I'm going to tighten 4 bolts with 10mm wrench of the coolant pump pulley. After tightening the pulleys, I have removed these 2 bolts so I can install the smaller pulley that drives the drive belt for the AC compressor, and after that I can tighten 4 bolts with 10mm wrench. I have installed the smaller pulley, tightened 4 bolts with 10mm wrench. The tension for the belts is looking okay, so now I can install the plastic splash guard, and after that I can lower the vehicle. I have installed the plastic splash guard, 4 bolts with 10mm wrench. So now I'm going to lower the vehicle, install the wheel, and I can start the engine. The vehicle is on the ground, so now I'm going to try to start the engine and see if the problem is fixed. The engine is starting, it's working fine. So this means that I am finished. If you like to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and thank you for watching.